Hey everyone, let's start healing. I'm Adrienne Murchison, and I have a really special bonus episode for you today. I am talking with guests, plural, 9 guests, for their quick takes on love, all things love. What love means to them, how they would define love, what comes to them when you bring up the idea of love. And in quick takes, they are sharing their thoughts. And this actually came to me, or the desire to do this came to me about a month ago when I was talking with a friend, and I could tell, well, through lots of conversation, that the idea of love was very negative to him and uncomfortable. And so I started wondering if other people feel that way. I mean, it does seem like love is undervalued in the world right now. And so I decided that I was going to ask folks. And love to me is everything, everything. God is love. If you are a follower of this podcast, then you know that that is how I am wired in my personal thought process and knowing in essence is that God is love and that you are love. You are love. I am love because God created us. And you cannot be anything other than love. It's just not possible for you to be anything less than love. And love, as I said, love is everything. Anything that is the opposite of love, whatever you want to call that, hate, whatever you want to call the opposite of love, it may feel like it can last forever, but anything that is the opposite of love cannot sustain itself. It cannot sustain itself. You ever see someone who's just so angry and they're so mad, and that anger, it cannot sustain itself. The heat of that anger, it has to dissipate. And love just extends and extends and extends. And for me, love of God and the awe that I have of God is free will. I mean, what more can you give to a person or give to a child, your child? Of course, you protect them. And I know I feel protected all the time. But the ability to have free will is the ultimate expression of love. Also, to me, when I think of love, I think of my love of family. I think of the greatest love that I've had. And my love of family is deep, 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 deep. And my love of my mother, my late mom, to me, that was the closest thing to something divine for me in terms of a human and love. And the greatest blessing I had of my life, as hard as it was being able to be her primary caregiver in the last years of her life. Anybody who's a caregiver, you know that that is hard, but it was the biggest blessing. I wouldn't have had it any other way. And anytime I describe my mom, it might sound like she was this perfect person, and she wasn't. She wasn't. None of us is perfect, but the greatest love, the greatest love. And so family, I think about when I think of love, I think of not just the people who are closest to us, but I'm up here holding my phone. I was holding my phone because I heard a noise, a ding. But also, it's not just about the people who are closest to us. It is about our fellow man and caring about and having compassion for other people who are not in our inner circle, strangers, extending kindnesses and having compassion to people we don't even know. those are acts and expressions of love. One of the things I have talked about here and there on Let's Start Healing is how I really like people, and I like to ultimately, in an ideal world, I like to really get to know that intimate part of a person, like that person in here, you know? And to me, that's love. Like, I want to know you, I want to know the essence of you. And that's not in, I don't mean that in a romantic way. I mean, I want to know the essence of you. And that is love, who you are, what makes you move the way that you move and think the way that you think, and the essence of your spirit. That's love. To know that about, for two people, to know that about each other, and then to walk away and learn that about someone else, that is love. That's connection. So love is connection. So love is connection. And actually, in thinking about this whole topic, number one, as I said, it feels like love is undervalued in this world, and that it could be thought of as a weakness almost, the idea of love. And I was thinking about the song, What the World Needs Now is Love, Sweet Love. And that seems so sort of frivolous and light, and big song back in the day. But I decided to Google the song, and I came across this article, and it was an interview with Burt Bacharach and Hal David, who wrote the song. And Hal David wrote the lyrics. And when he first came up with the lyrics, it was a grind, because he came up with the first two lines: "What the world needs now is love, sweet love," and the second line is, "It's the only thing that there's just too little of." And it was 2 years before he could come up with the rest of the song. And the way that it came to him is that he realized that the song was addressed to God. And then the next line that he was able to write is, "Lord, we don't need another mountain." And then the rest of the song just flowed. And I thought that was so apropos. The song just came to me, and I wanted to share that with you. So now I want to bring you my guests, who were so kind to respond to my request and share their quick takes on love. Let's meet them. Let's get started, and let's start healing.
When I think of love, I think of unconditional love. I think of selfless love. I think of empathy. I think of going above and beyond for those that matter the most. The highest form of that love is agape. That's what I think of when I think of love. Think of agape.
And I want to start by asking how you would define the
Yeah.
word
Well,
love.
in the introduction to the course, it says the meaning of love cannot be taught, for that is beyond what can be defined. This course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love. It aims at removing the barriers to the awareness of love's presence. I remember once early in my career when I was going to be on the Oprah Winfrey show, and she was, having me on, and we were going to talk about love. And she told me that one of her producers, or maybe she said this on the show, I can't remember. One of her producers said, "Well, shouldn't we bring someone on to argue the other side?" She said, "What other side? What other side? No, thou shalt not love." I mean,
Right,
it's just,
right. Yeah, yeah. I say God is love, and we
that's
are love,
right. That's
obviously.
right. That is who we are and the purpose of our lives. And our identity and our purpose are the same thing.
What is love? Love is probably the most pure emotion, interaction, feeling that keeps us all connected in a multitude of ways. When I think of love, I think of the love of my family, the love of my children, the love of my wife, the love of my parents, in no particular order. All of these things can make us feel, or make me feel, the most warmest, happiest, motivated person that I could be. At the end of the day, it's hard to describe how I feel, but my love is an undying love. But it's funny because it's also a conditional love. It's a love that if it's not reciprocated, then I'm not able to feel it or give it the way that I normally would. So it's interesting, but it's hard to say. But anyway, love is love.
For me, love is the absence of fear. There's love and there's not love. And when you're connected, you feel peace in your heart. You have harmony in your relationships. People that you may have had agita before there's no emotion there associated with it in terms of the past conflict. And that's when I know that I'm feeling love. It's also the swell of your heart when you just feel like you want to just envelop them in your energy and project that out and just feel connected in a deep way. That's what love is for me.
What does love mean to me? Love means so many things. I think love is an action beyond words, a commitment to kindness, presence, and selflessness, giving through all seasons. It requires patience, understanding, and forgiveness. Love is both a responsibility and a sacred experience. Reflecting God's nature, it brings joy and it brings sorrow, and it's demanding of effort and faithfulness. To be loved, I believe, is a gift. To give love is an act of service. As 1 Corinthians 13:4 reminds us, love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. That's what love means to me.
Words don't work for the love that I've known. But what I will say, if I had to describe qualities of it, there's no judgment. There is only this unconditional acceptance and feeling of no separation.
Mm-hmm.
It's the ego that thinks it's separate and that there's things like right and wrong. Now, I'm not saying not to be that ethics don't matter. That's not what I'm saying. But it's just like Rumi said, like beyond ideas of right and wrong doing, there's a field. I'll meet you there. So that to me is what love is. And yeah, I can't really explain it. Energetically, what I can do, with people is they can feel it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they can feel that vibration coming out of me.
I think love is enduring with one another, no matter how hard or how simple. It's just endurance, and we need more of that.
Oh, that's a good answer. I think love is finding that spiritual place that brings you to its purest form, which is joy. So no matter what the joy is, whether it's with your spouse or another human being or an activity, you love cooking, you love fishing, you love playing golf, that's all love and that's all joy. And we're at our best when we're in that spiritual position.
Love is tricky, isn't it? I learned a lot about love through my faith, through church. I learned the importance of loving others, even if you don't know them, loving the neighbor, our neighbors, loving our communities. That's important. That's an important trait that really keeps our country going. So love is extended to those that we may not even know. I've learned through family that love can tell hard truths. and love can hold self and others accountable. I learned from my relationship with self that love is grace and love is giving and kind. Most of us are trying to do the best that we can. We are hard enough on ourselves as it is, and it's important to show that grace, show that love, extend that kindness to yourself even when it's hard. Love is forgiving, love is understanding, love is transformative, love is expansive, love is magic, love is peace. Love is something that unfortunately feels beyond reach for so many, but really is right there at their fingertips for the taking. There's so many people that eagerly want to give love, even without knowing. So it's more than enough love in the world if only people can receive it.
I think it means total selflessness, like the act of you putting someone else in such a high regard that you don't even care what happens to you and your day-to-day decisions. Everything you do is for them. Everything you think and dream of and push for is to them, right? I think the act of loving somebody is the highest form of selflessness you can give to them. I think the word love, right? When you think about what it means to love something, what love feels like, it's pure. It's as good as it gets. It's everything. It's like the feeling of being seen and seeing someone. It's the feeling of passion. I think you're passionate about things when you love things. I think, it's ambition, right? When you love the idea of a dream, or you love the idea of a goal you've set, you love the idea of being progressive or forward thinking, or, having a plan, right? Like it's such a high level of commitment, right? I don't think there's really anything that can top it when you really think about it, right? Like it's purity. Like it's as good as it gets. That's what I think of love.
But I wrote, love is an outpouring of caring, exponentially, caring and consideration. It's an act and an expression. It's a noun because you are love. And then I started writing, love is an embodiment, a container, and then I stopped because then you came on.
I'm going to begin with something that inspired me years ago. And I saw it on YouTube. It was a woman describing her experience after or during her near-death experience. So I experienced a near-death experience, which I've shared about before. And for me, there's now like a kinship with those who have gone through that experience and come back with a level of understanding, not just intellectually, because she was a professor. And on top of the fact, she was not, and probably at the time that she was sharing it, she wasn't fully, like, we'll say, a God believer either. But her experience now had her on the journey of exploring what a relationship with this source, now that she's personally experienced, is. And in her presentation, she described the attributes of the state of unconditional love. So it's a profound sense of belonging. Everything about everyone that exists is not only accepted, but it's admired, respected, recognized, and celebrated. It's a cooperative co-passion for being. Effortless. It feels easy and blissful. It's filled with a joy that is fundamental, remarkable only outside of that state of being. So inside of it, it's natural. Outside of it, it feels or looks like it's miraculous, right? Your thoughts, imagination, experiences, dreams, creations are recognized to be valuable. So we are an integrated part of that which we call source, that which we call God, because it's a relationship. And we can't have relationships if we are not in participation with the other. So the last note that I have here is, how can we be anything but perfect? We are a part of God, just as much as it is us, right? And so we are created by it. It creates us. And because we get the gift of experience, emotions, feelings, and that is very unique in the way that we experience it as humans. Because we have that gift, we get to reflect appreciation, gratitude, and therefore love back to God.
So let me know what you thought about these quick takes on love and this bonus episode. And remember, we have more in common than we think, and what we have in common can change the world.